Talking About Rock's Rock Roundtable Series presents the Battle of the RONS with Ron Keel and Ron Jones on Talking About Rock. Okay, welcome to another edition of our Rock Roundtable series here on Talking About Rock. On each episode, we bring you two special guests to discuss topics from music, media, or the entertainment world on our Rock Roundtable. So let's meet today's guest. Let's say hello to the metal cowboy himself, author, radio host, and actor Ron Keel is back here joining us today. How you doing, Ron?
I am doing great. Ron Keel, the metal cowboy, reporting for duty.
All right. And let's also welcome the rowdy rocker, music industry insider, and host of Let It Rip with Ron. Ron Jones is here with us, too.
Hey, what's going on? I'm here with two powerful and attractive gentlemen today.
We got the Battle of the RONS going on to discuss some topics. All right. So glad you guys could make it. Really appreciate your time today with us.
Glad to be here, man.
So let's start it out. One of the things that surprised me this week, there was a big announcement, so Alex Van Halen going to drop his autobiography titled Brothers coming out in October. Now, kind of funny, given that he's been usually a pretty private guy about all his stuff, and with the passing with Eddie, kind of almost seems like he's been the gatekeeper, though, of stopping the Van Halen tribute. And then we get this attack from David Lee Roth last week against Wolf Van Halen, weird stuff going on with there. I couldn't believe that really myself, so we'll go to Ron Jones here. We're going to have to do something with the Rons. We'll just go to Jones here. Jones, you got any feedback on any of that? I know that was a lot there.
My mind immediately went to when you were talking about, David Lee Roth taking the shots on Wolfie, and as I was driving home tonight, something that I was thinking about Van Halen, because, we were going to talk about Alex's book. And one thing that was crystal clear to me, I'm like, you know what? I hope I'm allowed to use bad language. Don't mess around with time. Don't screw around with time. They were so close to putting that back together and having a really big tour. The infighting and the bullshit. David Lee Roth is David Lee Roth. Okay.
Yeah. We know he's a loose cannon. He's a loose cannon, but it's like, I don't know, Mr. Keel, do you think like Alex was holding this stuff up? Do you think there's any truth with that? I mean,
there is something very liberating about getting older and knowing that your day has passed. I'm there. I get it. The older we get, and as we know that our heyday is basically behind us, it's very liberating because you can finally come out and say what you want, be who you are, and express yourself in a way that you couldn't do when you were in the spotlight or the limelight.
Right.
And Alex has taken that opportunity to do that with his book. David, what's he got to lose? Say what you feel and be real about it. I know it hurts some of us long-term fans that just want mom and dad to get along and want we want the old days to live forever and the Wicked Witch and the Good Witch to whatever. I'm excited to read Alex's book and hear his side of the story. His name is Van Halen, after all. So they all have a right to express themselves. That's what music and rock and roll is all about.
Yeah, definitely. I'm with the fans. I'm just like, why didn't we get a great tribute to Eddie here? Why couldn't we pull something together? Sammy's doing his thing with Michael Anthony, which is really cool. But I'm like, the world would have loved to see an Eddie tribute. We got a Taylor Hawkins tribute, like what? Like in a month or two? They put that together? Come on,
No, you
guys.
compare
Now,
apples
you
and
know, it's like asking an artist to do a tribute to Da Vinci or Michelangelo. I mean, their work lives forever. Everything we see, hear, and do is a tribute to Eddie.
Yeah. I guess a lot of people were scared to take on that role and to fill in his shoes. I mean,
But you know, on the other side of it, on Alex's defense, I mean, just because, you know, they did a Taylor Hawkins thing or whatever else, in Alex's defense, maybe he was so grief-stricken after all those years, and that was his brother.
yeah,
Maybe he's just like, I don't want to do this right now. You know, my
yeah,
not there. And so I
yeah.
kind of look at it that way. I mean, the
Yeah,
guy
that could
lost
very
his
well
brother.
be, because I know like they were very private. They wanted to keep everything in their inner circle. And Eddie didn't really like social media or putting stuff out on the internet. He was really wanted to keep that really tight with the group. So maybe you're on the right track with that for sure. Just as fans, it's kind of heartbreaking to see that we didn't get a great tribute to this man. You know what I mean?
Every guitar solo you hear is a tribute to Eddie Van Halen, man. I mean,
Exactly.
that legacy he changed music for everybody, including me, from the day I first heard that Van Halen debut album. And from that day on,
Yeah.
his impact on our industry and on music and on the fans and everybody who's heard it it speaks for itself. I don't think doing a tribute concert or festival or benefit or whatever would enhance or diminish his legacy.
Yeah. Gotcha.
And you know, you got to admit, if Alex has got a book, from what I've read about it, it's a huge book. It's not small. And I can't wait to see a lot of the pictures and the stories that he has and stuff that we haven't heard. And I've got a feeling, I mean, I can't wait. I'll get it the day it comes out. I mean, I'm down.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Coming out October 22nd. So the book Brothers by Alex Van Halen, the autobiography. So yeah, check that out. Hope that'll be cool. The other announcement that's been going around lately on the internet, and I don't know how interested people are with this, but I always take a listen, is the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame nominations came out, right? So this time rolling around, we got some of the top names. You got Ozzy Osbourne on there, Foreigner, Peter Frampton, you know, and my question on all this kind of is do we really think like the fans really carry any weight in these decisions anymore? You know, I would love to have thought that back in the day, but with things that have gone on in the past with this, it's just like I can't even see that anymore. Mr. KEEL, your thoughts on that?
Politics is a bitch, and it's obviously rampant in every phase or aspect of our society and our culture. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, you can go on social media all you want and see everybody posting the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as a joke. Well, it's not to the people that are in it.
Right.
I can guarantee you. And the Grammy nominations as well, man. Every person I've had on my radio show who was a member of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame or a Grammy-winning artist has spiked that football loud and proud.
Of course.
It means a lot to them.
Right.
But to the fans, it's always a snub on their favorite artists. To the artists that get in there, man, I don't even know half of them. I don't even know who they are.
Right.
And to call it the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, maybe they want it to be more rock or more metal. But man, metal and hard rock in general have always been the outcast.
Exactly.
We're not supposed to be accepted. We're not supposed to be mainstream. We're the outlaws. We're not supposed to. That's part of the deal with rock and roll. You're a rebel. You are not accepted by mainstream society. So just not being in should be a badge of honor as well. Because I'm not in any freaking Hall of Fame.
Right.
I'm one of the top 20 selling artists in the history of Arizona, where I grew up. And now I'm not in the Arizona Music Hall of Fame.
Oh, maybe we need to knock on their doors over there for you.
I mean, we've got Alice Cooper, Stevie Nicks, and others but they've snubbed me. If I was in, of course, I would shout it proudly and show off the trophy. If I'm not in, that means I'm a rock and roll outlaw, and I feel right at home where I'm at.
Yeah, I think you definitely make a very good point. You know what I mean? So we've been kind of getting a little ground the metal folks anyway. We got Judas Priest in, was it last year or the year before, whatever. So they throw us a bone every once in a while, and it wasn't an official.
It should have been.
It wasn't like
then we had Kiss, and Kiss is one of my favorite bands.
Grand Funk Railroad.
Love Grand Funk.
The list goes on. the
Yeah.
list goes on of artists that should be in that aren't in,
Yeah.
and acts that are in that I've never heard of.
Yeah. So here's the list. You're speaking of list. Here's the list of what's coming up this time. These are the nominees. So we got Mary J. Blige, Mariah Carey, Cher, David Matthews Band, Eric B. and Rankum. Not familiar with that, unfortunately. Foreigner, Peter Frampton, Jane's Addiction, Fool and the Gang, Lenny Kravitz, Oasis, Sinead O'Connor, Ozzy, Sade, and A Tribe Called Quest. Those
Sinead
are the
O'Connor and
Say-
Ozzy Osbourne in the same breath.
Yeah,
You know,
well-
and you know, everybody's heard this, and I'm going to be blunt when I say it, and I'm pretty sure you guys can agree with me. It's called the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. You just read a couple of people on that list, and I thought I knew music until I heard, what was that, Cancun? What was the name of that band, Rancoon or something you just said?
I said Eric B. and Rankum. Yeah, I'm not familiar with
Has
that
anybody
artist,
heard of them
unfortunately.
never heard of them.
Not familiar with them.
But you're
Yeah,
going to
so
go into a Hall of Fame.
yeah, so
That
I
gives
had
you
this
the problem.
conversation. Was it last year with Vinny Appice, because Dolly Parton was on the nominee list, and who'd have known that Dolly was going to come out with a rock star album a couple months later, right? Of course, that was all coming out there, but she's a great artist, no doubt about it. But yeah, like you're saying, back to some of these folks, maybe it shouldn't be the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, maybe it should be Music Hall of Fame or something, right?
Well,
I've
Rock.
had people, yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, Ron.
I've had people bring up to me when, you know, and Ron Keel, you're probably the same way. When we were growing up in the 70s, 80s, you could turn on any FM station anywhere in the South, whatever, you'd hear the Eagles, you might hear Kiss, you might hear Linda Ronstadt, you might hear the Bee Gees.
Black Sabbath.
It was rock and
Eagles,
roll.
back to back. Yeah, it's all rock and roll. And
these artists, they may be talented, they sell millions of records, and I mean, and for what they do for their genre, it's great.
Right.
Mary J. Blige in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I can't even wrap my head around that. And I'm not meaning to piss people off, but it's the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah.
you know, the rock and roll is a big umbrella that we all sit under, and I'm comfortable with that. When the Stones and the Beatles and a lot of that stuff sounded like country music. Oh, this could be the last time. The Stones. I mean, there's
The Eagles.
so many.
Yeah.
The Eagles. So many of that early rock and roll music took its influence from blues and country, and it all
definitely.
kind of created this melting pot. I'm cool with that, and you know, there is no real criteria for it. Maybe the fan voting should count for more. I think that's what you're saying, Robert, that the fan voting should have carry a little more weight than just the industry or the politics.
Yeah, I mean, they have the thing where you can nominate your person or write in your person every day. But let's just face it.
Yeah.
We know the names that are gonna make it. It's there. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. But
Yeah,
it's just,
and how they differentiate which members of the band can be a part of it. When Priest was a perfect example, and they got in through the back door, which is bullshit.
right,
But
right, because they
why
threw us the
didn't all
bone. Yeah,
all the members who have ever contributed to their recording catalog or their lineup should have been included. It's not just the classic lineup or the album lineup or the current lineup. It should be Tim Ripper Owens, who kept them alive when Halford took a break for a while and did his solo thing. Ripper kept them going.
yep,
And they struggled through from some hard, hungry, tough years.
yep.
And Ripper kept that band alive, but he's not invited, or the members of KISS, Bruce Kulick,
Absolutely. I was just
Eric
thinking
Carr.
Bruce, Eric Carr.
The list goes on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Tommy Thayer.
Anybody who
Thayer's been in the
contributed
band
to
for
the body
22
of work
years.
should be a part of that, in
Totally
my
agree.
humble opinion.
Totally agree on that point for sure.
And I could
for
really
sure.
see Paul Stanley, you know, you could hear the anger in his voice the whole time when he was discussing it. And I see his point on it. I mean, you did have the Bruce Kulicks and the Mark St. Johns and the Eric Carrs and, you know, Vinnie Vincent. Sorry, I tried to do that with a straight face.
You're
But,
a member of the band.
still,
You
you're
were
a
a
member of the
member.
band.
You remember the band,
You were a
right?
member.
And so
I should
they
have
only
gone in with
inducted-
Black Sabbath, right?
Right.
Right.
Right. Well, they don't even have
Just
Ronnie
kidding.
Ronnie
I'm
James
just
Dio is
kidding.
not even in there.
I know.
I think it should be totally fan voting if you ask me, but that's just me.
There,
I mean-
I think there should be some differentiation. Maybe you throw us fans a bone and you should have like a fan appreciation something or something, right? That's all I'm
Something.
saying.
Yeah,
Right.
something. And you know, we all think it's bullshit, except for the guys that are in it. Because
Right.
I've had them on my show. You know, people
Oh.
like Michael Bruce from the Alice Cooper Band, or Joe
Oh, yeah.
Elliott from Def Leppard.
Oh yeah,
or
nothing
whoever.
wrong with the people
I mean,
that are in there. I highlight that for sure. If you made
They
it
are
in
proud
there,
of that.
yeah. If
Rock
you
and
made
Roll
it
Hall
in
of
there,
Famer. mean, you're in the Hall of Fame. You're in. No questions
Okay,
asked.
Ron, but I got to ask you, we just heard one band did all three at Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Did all three of us look at each other on the screen when he said the name again, and we all put our hands in the air because we hadn't heard of them before? That same band, when I heard about this, when I was talking to people in the podcast, talking to Chris, other people in Nashville, nobody had a clue who they are. So that's where I have a problem with this criteria. How are you putting somebody into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame that not a damn person I've talked to knows who it is?
Yeah.
Good question. I mean, you have to have had an impact on culture, on not only rock and roll or metal or whatever, but popular music culture. Mariah Carey, a great example.
Right.
Everybody knows who she is.
Right.
But that act that you mentioned, I don't even remember who they are.
Earlier. Yeah.
Eric B. and Rankum. Yeah. I have to look that up. No disrespect to the artist whatsoever at all. Obviously, just not familiar with their body of work, you know.
I have total disrespect for him. Fuck him.
I feel the same way, brother.
Ron Keel just says it how it is. That's what I love about this man, folks. That's what I love about him. And this is the internet.
Now I realize that my standards can go down here. Sweet. All right.
This is the internet. We can
set
say
the
whatever
bar
we
really
want.
low for you, Ron. We set the bar really low. Yeah, if we haven't heard of him, then because and there is, I guarantee you, look at the Billboard Hot 100 chart right now. Pull up the Billboard chart. You're going to see a ton of acts that are in the top 40 that you have no idea who the hell they are. And it's just a different culture now. I think the acts that get into the Hall of Fame or get their star on the Hollywood Boulevard, they need to be people that have had, or artists that have had an impact that
totally agree,
have made a difference, that are recognizable, that everybody knows who they are. Not everybody, but everybody knows who Dolly Parton is.
Perfect example. Cher's on the list, right?
Cher.
Perfect example, right? Everybody knows who that is, right?
Absolutely.
I had a friend the other day who told me, he said, man, if I haven't waited for over 6 hours in line for tickets in the 70s or 80s for a rock band, they don't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. I was like, damn, there's a lot of truth to that.
Wow. All right.
There's a lot of people that we waited
I
in
remember
line to
pitching
see.
my tent to see
Ted Nugent's never going to make it. Sorry.
Wow. That's a whole nother conversation.
No. We were pitching tents to see Kiss, and Ted was opening, so we can.
That's a whole nother conversation if you talk about Ted Nugent, though, Ron.
Okay.
We're going down a rabbit hole with that one. Yeah.
All right.
So let's bring up the last topic I kind of wanted to discuss here a little bit. So with vinyl, obviously big again, right? Everybody's doing the different types of vinyl, splatter colors, all this different that. I'm hearing CDs are starting to make a comeback a little bit. So maybe that's going to hit up, and maybe even cassettes will make a comeback. Mr. Jones, any thoughts on that? What do you think?
It's only because people that are as old as me and Ron, we've got like 2,000 CDs and 16,000 cassettes that are packed in boxes and in our attics and everything.
Oh, you don't have any 8-tracks in there? You don't have any 8-tracks?
Actually, I do. I still have my Evening with John Denver, and I still have my Kiss Alive 2 8-tracks.
Yeah, I had a lot of 8-tracks back in the day, but it's just funny how that media is again starting to create a little bit of hype.
But I'm curious. I mean, I don't see that much on the CDs right now. Some of the bands that I work with aren't even releasing CDs anymore.
Really?
I was talking, hope I can say this. Yeah, I can say it. I was talking to the guys from Accept and Martin Motnick, and we were all talking about it. If you got a band that size that tours overseas and has a big audience overseas and they buy CDs, cool.
Right.
In the United States, though, I was working with 8-Ball, and they're like, we're not making any more CDs. What's the point? We get hung with all of them. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know if the CD's going to come back. I know I love vinyl.
Yeah. Vinyl is big. I'm talking to a lot of record store owners, and they're saying they're getting a lot of CD sales, and I still see people doing CDs a lot. So, Mr. Keel, you want to chime in on this? What are your thoughts?
I am owner of a record label, RFK Media. And we specialize in physical and digital product from a number of artists, including myself. And on the microcosm of the topic, the physical product can never die. Just like vinyl has been around for over a century, it's going to stick around. CDs are the same way. It's a digital format, which does not deteriorate. I can dig out a CD from my collection here in the vault that's 40 years old, and it sounds just like it did 40 years ago.
Right.
when CDs first started coming out in the mid 80s. We are selling a substantial quantity of CDs because people are reverting back to that need for physical product, just like your family photos. You might have tons of pictures in the cloud of your mom, your dad, your kids, your grandkids, whatever, man. If you don't print them out, you don't own them. You need a print of that picture of my granddaughter on the wall in a frame. That's a physical product that can never be substituted by the cloud. Now, this whole modern digital culture of keeping our content in the cloud, people are starting to mistrust that, and I'm one of them. I will not buy a vehicle without a CD player in it. I will not sign an artist to my label that I can't sell 1,000 CDs for $15 a pop. If you can't sell 1,000 CDs, you're not getting signed to RFK Media. That physical product will never go away, and we are doing cassettes as well. We are releasing.
Are you selling the cassettes here? Are you selling the cassettes here? Or are they going overseas? I mean, I'm curious. How's that
I'll
work?
sell them to whoever wants to buy them. I don't care where they live. Yeah, it's just an address, man. It just costs more to ship it overseas.
Right. It's the internet, baby. You can sell it everywhere.
And y'all don't forget, Ron KEEL just said that he'll only buy a car that's got a CD player. Hey, Ron, come see me.
I think there's somebody that sells cars on this show. Better look. You should have never said that.
I'm a firm believer in the physical product. And vinyl was absolutely taboo, done, goodbye, whatever. And then everybody, okay, vinyl's cool again until your cat runs across the turntable. You know, then you're screwed. You just paid $40 for a vinyl album.
Yeah.
But people love that vinyl feeling, that feeling we had in the 70s. We bought an album and we opened it up and we could see the lyrics and the artwork.
Yeah.
That the scratchy sounds that it makes when it's on the turntable. There's a feeling there, man. If I wasn't connected to the earpiece, I'd grab my cassette player off the desk right out there. There's a feeling that you get when you put that tape in the cassette deck and you hit play, and that's the time machine that takes me back to the 80s or the 70s when I was falling in love with rock and roll all over again.
Yep.
I'm a firm believer in physical product. I don't care what kind of format it is, but I think we have to embrace that. And will there ever be even for music in general, even digital music, 1 million Spotify streams will get you $3,000. I mean, right. No artist can live off that.
That's crazy. That's crazy. We know how that all happened and stuff, but I agree with you totally. Love vinyl. I wish we could do it like we did a little bit in the day. You open that record, you could smell that record. And sometimes you got some cool stuff in there too. Kiss was great with that merchandising thing. You got like a love gun in there. You got like stickers in there. You know, a little something. It doesn't have to be cosmic, but it's cool for the people that are collectors of vinyl. They like that, right?
People love it, man. People love it. I can tell you right now, I made $1,000 today off vinyl sales.
Yeah.
Nice.
So back when I was in KEEL, I made $1,000 a year off vinyl sales. So,
hey, I bought one of them though.
I am very thankful for the fans that still embrace that format. And if they want the cassette, the vinyl, the CD, whatever, rfkmedia.com, we got it for you.
There you go. Check out rfkmedia.com for all your needs. There you go. Very, very cool. All right. So that wraps up this edition for the Rock Roundtable. Talk about rock. We'd like to thank our guests, Ron KEEL, the Metal Cowboy, and Ron Jones, the Rowdy Rocker, for joining us today. And thank you folks out there for listening. Also for all the texts and emails for our shows. We really appreciate it. I want to say a shout out. Thank you to FeedSpot for listing us as top rock podcast to follow. We hope you join us for our next Rock Roundtable for all new guests and new discussions on Talking About Rock. Gentlemen, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Live the rock.
Talking About Rock is sponsored by School of Rock, North Buffalo. Call 716-317-7625 to rock.